welcome back to Tetanam, the podcast for Africans by Africans. My name is Malika Oma, and you know everything that we talk about. And welcome to the reading room. And today I'm going to be sharing a letter that I wrote quite some time back. I actually just finished watching the film The Great Gatsby. For those who know it, vibes. For those who don't know it, I don't know what is wrong with you. No hard feelings. But yes, I just finished watching The Great Gatsby and it made me get some, what's the word? Can I say introspective? Introspective? Is that what introspective or introspective? Please find out in the comment. But I feel like it's I feel like it's introspective. Anyway, kizungu ilikuja na kimeli, ilikuja na meli. So yes, I'm gonna read you guys a letter that I wrote in relation to The Great Gatsby, but made it more reflective to current situation, current times. Real life. Let me say I made it into a situation of real life. And I know I should have watched this film a very long time ago. If you have not watched this film, you need to go get it. You honestly need to go get it and go watch it. But this is gonna be a spoiler. I'm not even going to lie. It is going to be spoiler. No. And I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can. So there are very many people who take granted of this world, and I've been taken for granted, you've also been taken for granted, and it's not the proudest moment in people's life. So The Great Gatsby is technically a story of perception, it's a story to cut the long story and of social relevance, if I can call it that. So The Great Gatsby is technically a story of perception, it's a story to cut the long story and of social relevance, if I can call it that. Social relevance. These are issues that people face, we face, you face every day, you know. Living in a world as crazy as ours, these are things that you face every day. And there's so many people who take granted of in this world. I, for one, have been taken for granted, I mean, sorry. And I've done the same thing to others, unfortunately. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it's something that I've found myself taking people for granted. This is not, let me say, this is not current terms, something maybe more of past terms. And as human beings, it's a flaw that we have. It's an unfortunate flaw that we have, and you have to be able to clock yourself so quick. You have to clock yourself so quick. Now, Gatsby was a man who was consumed and engulfed and lost in a person he saw himself with. And this is Daisy. He was lost and grasped so hard in a love that was not only old, but it was new to him. It was strong in him. And he was so ready and so willing to give himself up for Daisy. He was ready to lose himself, to be very precise. And the story is one that you hear in mwaka mpya mwaka ingine. It's the same story you hear day in, day out. We keep losing ourselves and the things we are, to the things that we chase. You know, we lose ourselves in what we chase, in the ideas that we chase. And some of the things we chase and some of the ideas that we chase often don't really hold value, if I can call it value. Don't hold spiritual value, don't hold emotional value, don't hold human value. They just hold a value of perception of the world. And specifically, money is the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Money is very important in this world we live in. Money happens to be the thing that makes the world tick and talk. That's just what money happens to do. And you can either fight it or you can find a way to live with it. But specifically when I talk about money in our generation, is that we are so blind and we're so blinded by the distant light of the future that we forget we need to live in the present. We are constantly chasing a bag so much that we're willing to hurt, betray, backstab, ignore, and push everyone away, and mostly, you end up pushing yourself away. you end up not being true to who you are, true to what you stand for. You know, there are so many people I personally know or have known who lose them because of the validation that the world gives them. I personally don't believe in validation from the world. I, I personally do not believe in validation from people who only see me how I want them to see me. Like, you interact with me based of how I present myself in the public. And the same thing with you. I interact with you based how you present yourself in the public, right? And very many people do not grasp that you can't please everyone. You actually can't please everyone. And if you come to peace with that, your life becomes easier. But we also keep forgetting about the balance of the weight of life. We forget that one day we will be old. One day we're not gonna be as strong, and maybe that's why we overdo being young. Maybe that's why we overcompensate, you know? The sheer fact that our youth has been, it's been stabbed at, it's been twisted, it's been bent over, it's been used as a weapon. We have been insulted about our youth. Our own president has called us treacherous criminals, you know, because of our youth, because of not standing for nonsense. We have been viciously attacked, you know. When people also forget that they were young ones. You know, people are so older people, you guys are so quick to forget that you were young ones. But you also fail to remember that the era where you were young is not the same era for us. It's very different. You grew up, let me say you, if I'm speaking to someone who's older, grew up in an era where you were not allowed to question, you were actually not allowed to think, you were actually not allowed to reason, you were actually not allowed to innovate. You are not allowed to do the things that make you human. You aren't. When I say you're not allowed to question, this comes into terms very well with religion. I remember for a very long time, I was always told, don't question. Just do. Don't ask questions. Just do. And as a child, it honestly never made any sense to me. I think now as I grow older, and there are very many things that I'm now reflecting and like flashbacking of when I was a kid, and I'm like, damn, I've actually always been like this, you know. I've actually always questioned, and I've always been hungry to understand, hungry to know. I always ask questions. Like, anybody who knows me, anybody who's been even in meetings with me, knows I am obsessed with asking questions. Even if I might know the answer, I will ask you the question. Because human beings have a track record of saying A but meaning B. So I will counter check and counter check. And reflecting that to being an adult from noticing this about myself when I was a child, and I was like, damn, the very same things I was told not to do from a young age, I've been questioning them. I've been questioning these restrictions, and one of the biggest hopes and achievements that I want to achieve with this podcast is to have you question things. Adam and Eve ate this fruit, né? They ate this fruit of knowledge and wisdom. So why don't you want to get this knowledge and wisdom that we are on earth because of this knowledge and wisdom? My friend, can you please brain? So as a kid, there are very many things that just didn't make sense to me, and I've always been questioning it, and I think it's something that made me be branded as a troublesome child for a very long time. A troublesome teenager in some spaces, the troublesome youth now. And it's a problem that we face as young people, that we are constantly being criticized for using our brains, especially us now. I like calling us watoto kibaki, because as much as I personally did not go to public school, for example, but I was always so adamant of the fact of free education. That was Kibaki's thing. Let's educate our kids. Let's have our kids know things. And we are the educated. We are the educated generation. We are the chosen generation. We are the ones who took it and ran with it. And if you're being very honest, right now it seems like being young is actually the problem because of this education that we got, and we keep asking things and we keep questioning things. But I, for one, I'm still very excited to keep growing up, to keep growing older. I don't think being young is just 19, 20, 24, 26. No. I'm like, I see a 60-year-old woman walking on the street and I'm like, girl, you as young as yesterday. Because youth is about you. It's about how you choose to live your life. So growing up and growing thinking, yeah, I'm psyched to turn the age I'm turning. There's this notion for women specifically that a woman doesn't share her age. You don't ask a woman her age. I find it bullshitical that we have actually fallen for this thing of being afraid of our ages. It is honestly the one thing I know for a fact I am not scared of. I don't know who the person I will be in the future. I know that I'm very excited to meet her. I don't know what kind of old woman I'm going to be. I don't know if I'm going to have grandkids running around. I hope I do. I don't know where the world will be. You know, I don't know who we will be. But that literally is a definition of the future. It's a moment in time that hasn't gotten here. All we can do is fantasize about it. Do not fanto do. And it can be the next minute, the next hour, the next week. The future can literally be the time I say next. Next. You see? No one has full control of the future. And yes. It's something we don't like admitting, but no one actually has control over the future. Nobody can be able to say A will go as A and B will go as B. No, the least we could do is plan and get ready for it. And yes, we fabricate all of these ideas, these plans, these routes, these paths, and they keep changing. They keep changing, and then they frustrate us. And you wonder why is nothing going the way I wanted to? It's like, bro, cause unajaribu kuplan kitu yenye hauwezi plan. You know, I recently came across an Instagram post. I will fish it and have our editor put it up here. I recently came about this post, and this lady was saying how as Africans, the concept of future as time is not really there for us. Is not really. Let me not say it like that. Is not something that tumekuwa nayo, if that makes sense. In that Africans, we live in the now and now. And if even you sit back and you remember the stories that you were told by your grandma, by your aunts, you sit down and you actually remember, or you hear how they speak about when they were younger, you could just clearly hear these people were coming from a point where they just wanted to live in the now, in the then. You were just living in the then. And after I came across that, I was like, that makes no sense. But that makes no sense at all. But in the retrospect of things, it actually makes so much sense. It actually makes so much sense. Because the least that you could do is live in the now. I always say, exist in the now. Exist in the now. Exist in the now, and you will have the power of tomorrow. I refuse to give that power over to my future for an idea that I cannot control. It's only the creator who has the control over that. The least I could do is exist now fully and openly. Something that Gatsby was so open to, and people didn't really get it. People, if you actually watch that story and listen to the story, he was trying so much to live in the now, and his now was, I wasn't here for Daisy for some time, and now I'm here. I want to live in the now. And for more context, Daisy was married at the point that Gatsby was not coming back into her life. She didn't even know this was Gatsby. It's it's honestly a very funny story at some point. Like, this guy got his neighbor to be his best friend, to also be his wingman, and ironically, he was winging Gatsby for his cousin. So Gatsby was in love with his neighbor's best friend. Daisy is his neighbor's not best friend, sorry, his neighbor's cousin. And when Gatsby clicked it and he knew it, he was like, "Old sport, this is what we're gonna do." And he actually used to call him Old Sport. He's like, "Old sport, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna help me. We're gonna invite her for tea. We're gonna do this." Like, he was trying to live in the now of, I'm here. I want to do this here now, presently, openly, you know. But people really thought different of him. He was the odd one out. He was literally there's this phrase they say, is it the sore thorn sticking out? He didn't come from old money. He came from new money. He actually just came like from new money, like when during the bootleg time, when alcohol was illegal for some time, and they were making not backstreet alcohol, I don't know what the word is specifically, but they were kuna a term, I don't have that term, I'm sorry, kizungu likuja na meli, but how kuna tengeneza pombe, it's not ati walikuwa wanatengeneza changa, walikuwa wanatengeneza pombe, yes, but ilikuwa chini ya maji. That was his business, so it was an illegal business. And people had different opinions and different thoughts of him, and despite that, he always opened his doors, even for people who he didn't know, just so that he can get the approval and the attention of one person. He devoted his life to her, even when he wasn't with her. With a love so enthusiastic, so raw, so fresh, and so old, so old that it messed up some pivotal points of himself. It messed him up because he lost himself. You know, it made him forget who he is. It made him forget who he is. He held on to a hope for something that was a fragment, was literally a fragment in the past. And so often we block out everything, emotions and even reason, from compassion to humanity to kindness to warmth. And we do this just to chase something. To chase something. So for him, he opened up himself to all of this to chase something. And the saddest thing is, at the end, he was alone. Gatsby died alone. Daisy did not go with him. He was alone, and he actually was alone with his neighbor. His neighbor felt his loneliness, saw his loneliness, and it wrecked him in a way. But what I'm trying to say is, he was chasing something so much that he lost himself. And we as humans, the things that we chase so much, like money, attention, popularity, social status, that we lose ourselves. We lose who you are. You're fighting this daily battle with yourself to get validation from somebody who probably doesn't even know your last name. And at times we just have to sit back and remember to see yourself. You actually have to sit down and recall to look at yourself. And not just the reflection and the mirror, but who you really are. How do you move? What will you leave on this earth? You see how we keep finding mummies of the Egyptians? It's actually a mummy that I saw yesterday. I don't know how many years ago it was found, but it was a statue of a cat. And when they did an X-ray inside the sculpture was a cat. When they did an X-ray inside, it was a cat that died and they mummified it, which is actually very crazy. Like, this shows you the significance of cats, guys. If they mummified a cat, there's something about those creatures. Please. So when you see me with my children, please leave me be. But we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves chasing something that we will leave here. So do you want to die knowing that what you're chasing is gonna give you a peaceful death? Or do you want to live chasing something that is actively killing you as you chase it? We're all chasing money, because that's the biggest thing we chase, right? But I personally don't believe in chasing money. I don't chase money. I don't chase money. I sit pretty. I make sure the nectars of my nectarine are nectating. I make sure the petals of my flowers are petling. And I let the bee come to me. You got to let the bee come to you. And if I'm being very honest, that is one of the hardest ways to live with. It's one of the hardest ways to live in a world that is so constricted, controlled, and conformed by money. It's one of the hardest ways, but I can tell you it's one of the most rewarding ways. It's one of the rewarding ways, but it's also very difficult because it forces you to be true to what you're doing. Are you actually treating that patient in the hospital because you want them to be better? Or are you doing it just for the sake of the money? Are you shooting that content to impact one person's life? Just one. Or are you doing it to get an extra zero? I'm not gonna lie. Getting an extra zero on a check is not a bad thing. Please, don't get me wrong. We are living in a world where we need this thing. But it's how do we get it? That's what I want you to think about. How do we get it? How are we attracting it? How are we living with it? How are we moving with it? Are we chasing a path of nothingness? Nothing but a ruse of emptiness, of darkness? Or do you actually want to die knowing that you chase something with your whole existence and it made sense not just for you, but for those who are going to be behind you? And yes, it's heavy. It's a lot of responsibilities. Being socially conscious is a responsibility that many individuals do not want to take up on. And when I say be socially conscious, it's not even just about money. It's about how do you live with the human beings in your life? How do you value the people in your life? How do you value yourself? How do you value your worth? How do you value your likeness? Your weights are in your hands. No one is carrying your weight for you. No one will carry your weight for you. The only person who can carry your weight is you. You just have to decide, what kind of weight are you carrying? I'm currently carrying weights of like 150 kilo deadlift, if that makes sense. Is it a weight that you have plated for yourself? Or one that you have been boxed into? I remember when I was when we were kids, and there was this hunger and excitement to be an adult. Now that I'm an adult, now that I'm 26, all I could do is keep pushing forward, keep being as faithful and honest as I can to my purpose, to the reason why I'm here. We all have a reason, and we all hear, find your purpose in life. Find your it's not horse shit, guys. Once you understand why you are on this planet, this paper is called money becomes so irrelevant. They will become so irrelevant. And once it becomes so irrelevant, it's now going to want you even more. Money is a mindset. It's a mentality. You can have the hunger for money, and hunger is different from greed. Our politicians, definitely greed, that's theirs. But if you have a hunger for money without purpose, without a drive to fulfill your purpose, it's for nothing. And the most depressing thing on this earth is killing yourself, sacrificing yourself for nothing. Before I leave, I want to leave you with a quote that I read recently, that actually I heard recently at a podcast. And this person was saying, unfortunately I cannot remember the exact podcast or the person, but this person was saying something in the lines of, working hard for the rest of your life does not always guarantee success. Working hard for the rest of your life on something does not always guarantee success. It's twisted. It's so fucking twisted, but it makes so much sense. Because most people work so hard without a drive and without a purpose. And then it becomes nothing. It becomes useless. So what are your weights? What are your weights? What are the plates that you're deadlifting in this life? What is the purpose of what you're doing? Of who you are? Because if you don't nail that, my friend, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. A very rude awakening. That's been all from me today. Malika Alma is I, as usual. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Share, please share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Please do not sit down on knowledge by yourself. Help a brother out. Help a sister out. Help each other out, you know. And I will see you on the next one again. Stay African and stay very, very radical.